Why is it so smoky right now? Are masks effective? What is the smell? Will this affect the Cubs game? Why is it so smoky right now? We have Canadian wildfires, in particular the wildfires up in Quebec, which is kind of interesting because they're firing up northeast of us, but the upper air wind patterns are dragging all of that smoke from northern Quebec down into the Chicago area. What is the smell that people are currently inhaling? A lot of that is just smoke from the wildfires. That's the smell that gets emanated from the wildfires that are out there, and we're seeing it and smelling it right now. Are masks effective? Certainly they are. They can cut down on the amount of particulates that are getting into your breathing canal and making things very difficult for you to breathe. Unhealthy air quality versus very unhealthy air quality is just a measure of the amounts of particulates in the atmosphere. And the more particulates there are, particularly smoke and haze that we're seeing right now, the worse it gets for people who have any sort of breathing issues like COPD, emphysema, asthma, and that's when you really need to limit your outdoor activities.
Are masks effective?
Are masks effective? Certainly they are. They can cut down on the amount of particulates that are getting into your breathing canal and making things very difficult for you to breathe. What is an air quality alert? It's a measure of the amount of particulates in the atmosphere. Particulates, let's say, not necessarily like pollen that might come off of plants, but certainly pollutants like smoke that comes from the wildfires, pollutants that might come from factory work as well, that does not get allowed to get flushed out of the atmosphere very quickly by, say, some stronger winds. So we're looking at right now just a lot of increased particulate matter because the atmospheric conditions are ripe for the air to just kind of sit in place. The winds aren't particularly strong. We have an inversion overhead that's not allowing the air to really mix out. And so we're looking at some very unhealthy air conditions, and that is because of the amount of particulates that are in the air. Will this affect the Cubs game? There's a chance it could. Certainly the air quality is very poor. One of the difficulties that we do have with this, however, is accurately predicting the amount of smoke that's going to be in the atmosphere just a few hours from now. So it could ease up in time for the game that first pitch is at 7:05 this evening. The atmosphere could ease up. But we could still see a layer of smoke and haze, so it remains to be seen. Will this affect the beaches? Most certainly. Even though we do see breezier conditions right along the lakefront, we're still looking at a lot of that unhealthy air not really mixing out, and so we're looking at pretty much across the board, across the entire area, the air quality. As you can see on the map behind me, the air quality is poor all around Lake Michigan. So even though we're looking at the weather and the conditions here in the Chicago area, across the entire Great Lakes region, folks are being affected by the wildfire smoke. Are we going to see this continue? The likelihood of this continuing, at least for the next couple of days, very high. After that, again, smoke forecasting, there are a lot of variables that go into it, so it's a little bit too difficult to predict what's going to be happening 3, 4, 5 days out.